and welcome to another episode of Excuse the Beard. And today we're talking about something in the automotive space after a long time. And it is a rather dramatic thing we're talking about. That is the complete reimagining of the automotive retail space by Mercedes-Benz India. And what this will mean for not only Mercedes-Benz India going forward, but how will other car companies, not just in the luxury space, but also in the mass market space, look at this going forward. It is a rather dramatic change because now onwards, Mercedes-Benz India will be selling you the car directly, in the sense that the invoice will not be from a dealership, it will be from Mercedes-Benz India. The cars in stock will not be maintained by a dealership, they will be maintained by Mercedes-Benz India. This is a rather dramatic reimagining of automotive retail. Not as dramatic as maybe the way Tesla does things in America, directly selling to you, even owning the dealerships. But in India, this is possibly the biggest challenge to the way we buy and sell cars, I won't call it a challenge, but the biggest change to the way we buy and sell cars in many years. Now, what motivated Mercedes-Benz India to do this? Mercedes-Benz managing director in India, Martin Schwenk, did not really address that particular issue. But one supposes it had to also do with the amount of financial stress that was on dealers, because dealers had to buy wholesale cars from Mercedes-Benz and finance them from banks and Mercedes-Benz India Finance. And in situations such as the lockdown that's happened both in 2020 and right now, they were stuck with unsold stock, which they were continuously financing. And that put a lot of dealers under huge stress. Keep in mind that in the luxury car space, dealers need to buy expensive real estate or rent expensive real estate and spend a lot of money on building up that real estate. If you've gone to any luxury car showroom, you'll see how fancy it is, from the interiors to even having fancy Italian coffee machines. So dealers were under immense financial stress. And there is another thing. While I'm not saying that there are many bad apples in the dealer space, there were some bad apples in the luxury automotive retail space. We've heard of cases where some dealers financed and refinanced their cars by, doing some fraudulent things and then eventually got caught. Now, many of those dealers have been removed. Most of those dealers, whenever they've been caught by either the banks or the automotive company involved, have been removed. And this is not just in the luxury space. There have been some cases of bad apples, even among mass market dealers. Doing this particular task by removing the stock from the dealer and keeping the stock yourself will make that impossible. Removing the stock from the dealer also will allow much more choice. Now, suppose you want a Mercedes-Benz E-Class, but you want it in white, in a white exterior color, and say you want beige interiors or black interiors with particularly wood work or some particular features that, say, a dealer will not have, and the dealer will have to, say, especially order that car from the factory in the past. Now, because Mercedes-Benz themselves will keep the stock, they could probably have that particular vehicle in, say, the NCR, or even if they don't have it in the NCR, they can move the vehicle from another part of the country if that particular buyer wants a very particular car. This will also make it easier for the car to get sold, so you won't have odd pieces lying around in a dealer stockyard, again requiring dealers to finance that particular vehicle. And it's not that just that dealers will benefit, customers will too, because they will have more choice. However, because dealers earlier worked on margins, they used to offer discounts themselves. Now, dealers cannot offer a discount because they will be working on a commission, and Mercedes-Benz has made it very clear there'll be one price all India. People like bargaining, and they used to often go to multiple dealers in the same city or even in the region if there's only one dealer in that city. So suppose there's only one dealer in Lucknow. People used to travel to Delhi to try and buy a car, and dealers were competing with each other and offering discounts and undercutting each other. That I don't think will happen anymore with this new setup. And with service packages and comprehensive service packages as well with certain vehicles that even include tires, I think you will be able to buy cars and get them maintained for cheaper as well. Very interesting question is what this means for the dealer business. The dealer business in India has been challenged over the recent past, not just because of rising real estate costs. So much so that, for example, Maruti Suzuki actually leases out property that they have acquired to dealers because Maruti realizes that they have the financial capital that many dealers may not have. So a lot of the Maruti dealerships that are located under Delhi Metro Rail Corporation stations, for example, I think all of them have been directly leased by the DMRC to Maruti Suzuki, and Maruti Suzuki has then sublet them to other dealers. So this saves dealers the huge costs of financing such a property or putting in the deposit for such a property. And Maruti can obviously drive a harder deal or a harder bargain with DMRC by leasing out 20 stations instead of each dealer going and leasing out one station retail space piecemeal. So that's already been happening. The direct sales model is something that has been tried in many Western countries, Tesla being the most famous example. Tesla completely eschewing dealers and going directly to consumers in many parts of the US. Tesla actually owns the showrooms in many malls where you walk in and you're directly buying from the showroom, and you have a fixed price no matter where you go. The closest comparison I can see to this model is more in, say, fashion retail, where you have fixed prices and fixed discounts, and each store is working on a commission on each item that is sold. Of course, it's not the same because fashion is far more affordable than a Mercedes-Benz, but this is definitely a very interesting model that Mercedes-Benz India is trying out. I don't know how the bargaining buyer will take to this, and I don't know if all the dealers, there were some testimonials by dealers offered today during the press briefing. I don't know how all dealers will take to this, and I do not know if Mercedes-Benz themselves will set up some sales outlets, maybe at a mall, for example, where you can walk in and see a car and place an order now that it's all digitized, and you could go online, and it is maybe a dealer is fulfilling your order finally, but it's going to be a challenge. I'm pretty sure Mercedes-Benz will be able to pull this off because they did, for example, do the inclusive of service model in the recent past. And Santosh Iyer, who is the head of Mercedes-Benz sales and marketing, is a very smart man, and he's been looking at interesting sales and retail models in India. So I'm pretty sure this is Santosh's idea, and Santosh has the answers. And whenever we do meet him, we'll try and do an episode of Excuse the Beard, interviewing Santosh and looking at his concepts of retail going forward. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found this interesting. Please do subscribe for more from Excuse the Beard. There'll be a lot of more interesting content coming in this June as well.